Have you ever wondered why you keep allowing things that you know you don't deserve? Why you constantly compare yourself to other people? Why asking for something you need feels so uncomfortable? Or why one small mistake can make you question your entire personality? You might think you just have low confidence, but sometimes it's something deeper. It's how you respect yourself. And self respect isn't about thinking you're better than everyone else. It's about knowing that your feelings, your needs, your time, and your boundaries and your dignity matters too. So, today we are going to talk about 7 signs you might have low self respect, and more importantly, what you can actually do about each one. And please don't watch this video thinking, oh my god, I do have all the 7 signs, something is wrong with me. That's not the point. Think of this as a little reality check because noticing these patterns is actually the first step towards changing them. Sign number 1, you don't trust yourself. One of the first signs is constantly doubting yourself. You have an opinion, you make a decision, you choose something, and then someone else disagrees with you, and suddenly you're questioning everything. For example, you decide you don't want to go somewhere. You know you're tired, you know you need rest, but your friend says, come on, you're being boring. And suddenly you're thinking, wait, am I being boring? Or you buy an outfit you genuinely love, then someone says, I don't really like it. And then suddenly you're standing in front of the mirror thinking, maybe I shouldn't wear this. The problem isn't that you listen to other people's opinion. That's normal. The problem is when someone else's opinion immediately becomes more powerful, more important than your own. Self respect means being able to say, I can listen to your opinion without automatically abandoning mine. You don't have to agree with yourself 100% of the time, but you need to trust that you're capable of making decisions for your own life. What to practice? Before asking 5 people what they think, ask yourself, what do I actually think? Give your own opinion a chance to exist before looking for outside validation. Sign number 2, you constantly compare yourself to other people. We all compare ourselves sometimes, but when comparison becomes the way you measure your worth, it becomes a problem. You see someone your age getting a job, someone getting married, someone traveling, someone looking amazing, someone with thousands of followers, someone buying a house, and suddenly you're looking at your own life thinking, what am I doing with my life? But here's what comparison conveniently leaves out. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You don't know their insecurities. You don't know their problem. You don't know what they're actually struggling with. And most importantly, their progress doesn't mean you're failing. Someone else's success isn't the evidence of your inadequacy. What to practice? The next time you catch yourself comparing, ask, do I actually want their life or do I just want what their life represents? Maybe you don't actually want their career. Maybe you don't want their relationship. Maybe you want companionship. Maybe you don't want their appearance. Maybe you just want to feel confident. Once you figure out what you're actually craving, you can work toward that instead of simply envying someone else. Sign number 3, you struggle to ask for what you need. This one can look like you need help, but you don't ask. You're uncomfortable, but you don't say anything. Someone is treating you badly, but you don't tell them to stop. You're overwhelmed, but instead of saying, I need some help, you say, it's fine, I'll manage. And yes, sometimes you genuinely can manage. But constantly refusing to ask for anything because you don't want to be a bother can be a sign that you don't believe your needs deserve space. Imagine your friend came to you and said, I've been struggling for weeks, but I didn't want to bother you. You'd probably tell her, you could have just asked me. So why don't you give yourself the same permission? You're allowed to need things, you're allowed to ask, and the other person is allowed to say no. That's important. Asking for something doesn't mean you're entitled to receive it. It simply means you're giving the other person the opportunity to respond. Try this. Instead of, sorry, can I maybe ask you something if you're not busy and if it's not too much trouble? Try this. Hey, could you help me with this? You don't need to apologize for existing before making a reasonable request. Sign number 4, you worry and second guess yourself constantly. You send a message, then reread it, then wonder, did that sound rude? You make a decision, then 2 hours later, was that the right decision? Someone looks slightly annoyed and you're immediately thinking, did I do something wrong? This constant self doubt can make you incredibly dependent on reassurance. You don't trust your own judgment, so you're constantly looking outside for confirmation. And here's the uncomfortable part. Sometimes you won't get reassurance. Sometimes people will disagree with you. Sometimes someone will misunderstand you. Sometimes you'll make the wrong decision, and that's part of being a human. Self respect doesn't mean believing you'll always make the perfect choice. It means knowing even if I make a mistake, I'll be able to handle it. And that's a much healthier kind of confidence. So try this. When you're stuck overthinking a decision, ask yourself, if this decision turned out to be wrong, can I handle the consequence? Usually the answer is yes, and that can help you stop treating every decision like it's a life or death situation. Sign number 5, you struggle to accept positive feedback. Someone compliments you. You look beautiful. You say, no, I don't. You did really well. You say, honestly, it wasn't that good. You're really talented. You respond, I'm really not. Now, being humble is fine, but if you automatically reject every possible thing someone says about you, there's something worth examining. Because sometimes we become so comfortable criticizing ourselves that compliments feel uncomfortable. It's easier to believe I'm not good enough than to sit with maybe I actually did well. And here's a little challenge. So the next time someone compliments you, don't argue, don't explain, don't minimize it. Just say thank you. That's it. You don't have to believe you're the most beautiful, the most talented, intelligent person in the world. Just allow yourself to receive something positive without immediately destroying it. Sign number 6, your inner voice is constantly putting you down. This one is huge. You make a mistake, I'm so stupid. You gain weight, I look disgusting. You don't get the opportunity you wanted. Of course I didn't get it, I'm not good enough. You make an awkward comment, why am I like this? Notice how quickly you can turn something we did into something we believe we are. I made a mistake becomes I am a failure. I didn't get selected becomes nobody will ever choose me. I had an awkward conversation becomes I'm socially awkward and everyone probably hates me. That's not constructive self reflection, that's self attack. And I want you to try something. So the next time you catch yourself saying something cruel to yourself, imagine your best friend made the exact same mistake. Would you say you're so stupid? You always ruin everything? Probably not. You'd probably say it's okay. Everyone makes mistake. Let's figure out what happened. Start talking to yourself like someone you're responsible for taking care of. Sign number 7, you don't have boundaries. And this might be one of the clearest signs. You say yes when you want to say no. You let people speak to you disrespectfully because you don't want conflict. You keep forgiving the same behavior. You give people endless chances. You allow people to take advantage of your time, energy, money, or kindness. And sometimes you tell yourself, I'm just a nice person. But being nice and having no boundaries are not the same thing. You can be kind and still say, don't speak to me like that. You can love someone and say, I'm not okay with this. You can forgive someone and still decide, I'm not allowing this person the same access to me anymore. And you can say no without writing a 3-page explanation. Because a boundary isn't, you have to behave exactly how I want. A boundary is, if this happens, here's what I'll do. For example, if you continue speaking to me disrespectfully, I'm going to end this conversation. That's a boundary. And yes, people might not like your boundaries, and that's okay. A boundary isn't successful because everyone approves of it. It's successful because you actually respect it. So, how do you build self-respect? You recognize yourself in these signs. Don't start attacking yourself for it. That's literally the opposite of what we are trying to do. Start small. First is keep small promises to yourself. If you tell yourself you're going to do something, try to follow through. Not because you need to become perfect, but because you're teaching yourself my word matters to me. Tip number 2, start saying what you actually want. What do you want to eat? Whatever you want. Where do you want to go? Anywhere is fine. If you generally don't care, that's fine. But if you do have a preference, start expressing it. You don't need to make every decision about yourself. Just stop automatically erasing yourself. Tip number 3, practice saying no. Start with small things. You don't have to begin with the biggest boundary of your life. Say I'm not available today. I don't want to do that. I'm going to pass and let the discomfort exist. Tip number 4, stop insulting yourself for making mistake. Correct yourself without destroying yourself. You can say, I handled that badly, I'll do better next time, without saying I'm a terrible person. That's accountability without self-hatred. Tip number 5, pay attention to who you become around certain people. Do you constantly feel like you need to prove yourself? Do you feel like you're walking on eggshells? Do you feel like you have to earn basic respect? Sometimes low self-respect isn't about how you see yourself. Sometimes you also need to examine what behavior you have been accepting from other people. And if you recognize yourself in this video, please don't leave thinking, wow, I have no self-respect. That's not what I want you to take away. Instead, ask yourself, where in my life have I been abandoning myself to keep other people happy, comfortable, or impressed? Maybe it's in your friendship, maybe it's in your family, maybe it's in relationship, maybe it's simply the way you talk to yourself when nobody else is around. And you don't have to change everything overnight. Start with one thing. Say what you actually want. Accept a compliment. Ask for help. Set one boundary. Stop yourself when you start insulting yourself, because self-respect isn't waking up one morning and suddenly thinking you're amazing. It's built through hundreds of tiny decisions where you quietly tell yourself, my feelings matter, my needs matter, my time matters, my boundaries matters, and most importantly, I matter too. And if you want more practical advice from someone who's figuring life with you, rather than pretending to have everything figured out, your girlie, here's Yezo. That is it for today's video, and let me know what do you think about this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye.